Welcome to CELFA. In a moment, you are going to hear a powerful speech about money, discipline, personal value, growth, and action. But listen carefully. This message is not saying that money appears simply because you think positively. It is not saying that every person who struggles lacks ambition or discipline. The real message is deeper. Your results begin to change when you become more useful, when you develop valuable skills, when you strengthen your discipline, and when you transform your intentions into consistent action. As you listen, ask yourself 3 important questions. What value am I currently able to create? Which habit is still limiting my progress? And what concrete action can I take immediately after this video? Listen to this speech until the end. Afterwards, we will return with a deeper analysis and 7 practical lessons. The purpose is not only to inspire you. The purpose is to help you transform inspiration into a practical method for your professional, financial, and personal life.
Money is not avoiding you. Opportunities are not disappearing. Success is not reserved for a chosen few. But there is one invisible law controlling everything, and most people spend their entire lives fighting it without even realizing. Look around. Some people seem to create opportunities wherever they go. They recover after losses. They attract growth. They turn small beginnings into extraordinary results. Others work harder and harder, yet remain stuck in the same cycle. Why? Because money does not simply respond to effort. It responds to how you think, how you act, what you expect, and what value you create. Most people chase money directly, but money behaves differently. The harder you chase it from fear, desperation, and scarcity, the further it seems to move away. Yet the moment you understand this law, everything begins to shift. You stop asking, why don't I have enough? And you start asking, how can I become more valuable? Because wealth is rarely created by luck. It is usually created by decisions repeated long enough to change your reality. The law is simple. Money flows where value, discipline, and belief meet action. Read that again. Money flows where value, discipline, and belief meet action. Not wishes, not excuses, not waiting for the perfect moment. You may not control where you start, but you control your habits. You control your attention. You control whether you learn, adapt, build, and move. Every skill you develop becomes an asset. Every disciplined choice becomes a deposit. Every action plants seeds for future rewards. The people who never seem to lack money understand one thing. Income follows growth, and growth starts inside before it appears outside. So today, make a decision. Stop chasing fast results. Start becoming the person opportunities chase. Because once you understand this law, you will never look at money the same way again. If this message speaks to you, pause for a moment, reflect on one idea that stood out, and commit to applying it today. Most people spend years believing that money comes to those who work the hardest, struggle the longest, or sacrifice the most. But if that were completely true, then every hardworking person would already be wealthy. The reality is different. Money does not move toward need, it moves toward value. Think about it for a moment. The world does not reward effort alone, it rewards solutions. It rewards people who make life easier, better, faster, safer, clearer, or more meaningful for others. That means your greatest financial opportunity is not found in asking, how can I earn more? It starts by asking, how can I become more valuable? This changes everything. When you focus only on getting money, your attention becomes narrow. You begin looking for shortcuts, quick wins, and immediate results. But when you focus on increasing your value, your perspective expands. You start learning new skills. You improve your communication. You become more reliable. You think creatively. You solve problems others ignore. And that is where opportunities begin. Every successful result you admire started with value first. Someone learned a skill. Someone improved a process. Someone created something useful. Someone stayed consistent long enough to become excellent. Value creates trust. Trust creates opportunities. Opportunities create income. This is why two people can work the same number of hours and earn completely different results. One is exchanging time. The other is creating impact. Ask yourself, what do people consistently come to me for? What skill can I improve? What problem can I help solve? What can I learn today that increases my usefulness tomorrow? Because every answer becomes an investment in the future. And remember, value is not always dramatic. Sometimes value means becoming more disciplined. Sometimes it means keeping promises. Sometimes it means showing up when others quit. Sometimes it means improving 1% every single day. Never underestimate small improvements. A new skill may feel invisible today. A stronger mindset may feel unnoticed today. Better habits may feel insignificant today. But over time, these invisible upgrades become visible results. The people who seem impossible to stop are rarely the most talented. They simply became too valuable to ignore. So stop measuring your progress only by money. Measure it by growth. Measure it by what you know. Measure it by what you can create. Because when your value increases long enough, money eventually has a reason to follow. Everything in your life begins in your mind before it appears in your reality. Before every decision, every opportunity, every result, there is a thought. And most people never realize that their financial direction is often being shaped long before money ever enters or leaves their hands. Your mind is not simply reacting to life, it is guiding it. If you constantly think, nothing works for me, your mind starts searching for proof. If you believe opportunities are rare, you stop noticing them. If you expect failure before beginning, your actions become smaller, slower, and filled with hesitation. Over time, those thoughts become habits. Those habits become actions, and those actions become results. That is why changing your financial future is not only about changing what you do it is also about changing what you repeatedly tell yourself. This does not mean pretending problems do not exist. It means refusing to let limitations become your identity. There is a difference between saying, I have challenges, and saying, I will never succeed. One creates movement, the other creates surrender. Your mind works like a filter. Every day, thousands of possibilities pass in front of you, but your beliefs decide which ones receive your attention. Two people can stand in the exact same situation. One sees obstacles, the other sees lessons. One sees risk, the other sees possibility. One waits, the other starts. The difference is often not intelligence, it is mindset. When your thinking changes, your behavior changes. You begin asking better questions. Instead of asking, why am I behind? You ask, what can I learn? Instead of asking, why is life unfair? You ask, what can I build from here? Instead of saying, I can't do this, you say, I don't know how yet. That one word yet opens doors. Because growth starts the moment you stop treating your current situation as your final destination. Train your mind daily. Protect what enters it. Pay attention to your thoughts. Feed it ideas that expand your vision. Spend time learning. Observe people who create results. Replace constant doubt with consistent effort. Your mind becomes stronger through repetition. Confidence grows through action. Belief grows through evidence. And evidence appears when you continue moving. Do not underestimate the power of one new thought. A new thought becomes a new decision. A new decision becomes a new direction. And a new direction can completely change the course of your life. Because the way you think today, quietly, creates the life you live tomorrow. Many people wait for motivation before they begin. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel confident. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect time, or the perfect moment. And while they wait, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and opportunities quietly pass by. The truth is simple. Motivation can start a journey, but discipline is what keeps it moving. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation feels powerful when everything is exciting and new. It gives energy at the beginning. It makes goals feel possible. But emotions change. Some days you feel unstoppable. Other days you feel tired, distracted, uncertain, or discouraged. If your progress depends only on motivation, your results will rise and fall with your emotions. But discipline creates consistency. Discipline says, I will continue even when I do not feel like it. And that decision changes everything. Think about the people who achieve extraordinary things. Most of them are not operating at maximum motivation every day. They simply built habits strong enough to carry them through moments when feelings disappeared. Discipline turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. It is choosing to continue learning after excitement fades. It is showing up even when results are invisible. It is doing the work without needing applause. Every successful habit begins small. 1 page read, 1 task completed, 1 hour invested, 1 promise kept. These moments may seem insignificant, but repeated over time, they become identity. You stop saying, I'm trying. You begin saying, this is who I am. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep your word to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you follow through, your mind learns something powerful. I can depend on myself. That confidence becomes momentum, and momentum creates progress. Do not make the mistake of believing discipline means perfection. It does not. Discipline means returning. Missing one day is not failure. Stopping completely is. The strongest people are not those who never lose energy. They are the people who continue anyway. Create routines. Reduce excuses. Decide in advance. Make your goals easier to begin. Focus less on intensity and more on repetition. Because the life you want is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built in quiet moments, repeated again and again. One disciplined decision may seem small today, but thousands of disciplined decisions can completely transform your future. And one day people will call your results luck without seeing the discipline that created them. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is not a lack of talent, intelligence, or opportunity. It is the habit of thinking from scarcity. Scarcity is more than having limited resources. Scarcity is believing that limitation will always define your future. It is the voice that says, there is never enough. Someone else already took the opportunity. I should wait until everything is perfect. And slowly, without noticing, those thoughts begin controlling decisions. When people think from scarcity, they become afraid to move. They avoid learning because they think growth costs too much. They avoid taking healthy risks because they fear losing. They avoid trying because failure feels permanent. They protect what they have so tightly that they stop creating what they could become. Scarcity creates hesitation. And hesitation quietly steals opportunities. Think about this. Two people can have the same amount of resources. One sees limits, the other sees possibilities. One asks, what if I lose? The other asks, what if I grow? The difference is not always external. It often begins internally. When your decisions come from fear, your world becomes smaller. You delay important actions. You stop investing in yourself. You lower your standards. You settle for survival instead of aiming for progress. But abundance thinking works differently. Abundance does not mean pretending challenges do not exist. It means believing that growth is possible even within challenges. It means understanding that skills can be learned, knowledge can increase, opportunities can be created. You stop asking, do I have enough? And start asking, how can I create more? That question changes your energy. Instead of focusing only on what is missing, you begin building with what already exists. You become more creative. You notice solutions. You develop courage. You stop waiting for ideal conditions and begin moving with the conditions you have. Growth rarely begins when everything feels safe. It usually begins when you decide your fear will not make your decisions anymore. Train yourself to see resources differently. Time is a resource. Knowledge is a resource. Relationships are a resource. Experience is a resource. Your willingness to learn is a resource. Do not underestimate what you already possess. Many people wait for more while ignoring what they already have. Start where you are. Use what you know. Improve what you can. Expand little by little. Because abundance is not created overnight. It is created every time you choose possibility over limitation. Every time you invest instead of avoiding. Every time you believe growth is available to you. And when that shift happens, opportunities stop looking rare because your mind finally becomes ready to see them. Most people believe their greatest financial asset is their paycheck. They think security comes from the amount of money they currently earn. But income can change, jobs can change, markets can change, opportunities can change. What stays with you is something far more powerful, your ability to create value through your skills. Skills are one of the few investments that continue paying long after the effort of learning is finished. Money can be lost and rebuilt, but the person who knows how to learn, adapt, solve problems, communicate, and improve can create opportunities again and again. That is why the strongest form of wealth is not what sits in your account today. It is who you become. Every new skill expands what is possible. A person who improves communication can influence more effectively. A person who develops leadership can create stronger results. A person who learns to think clearly can make better decisions. A person who builds discipline can outperform people with greater natural talent. The world changes constantly. New industries appear, old methods disappear, and the people who continue growing stay valuable regardless of circumstances. This is why successful people often invest heavily in themselves. Not because they already have everything, but because they understand that growth multiplies future opportunities. Learning is not an expense. It is preparation. Every book, every lesson, every hour of practice, every difficult challenge, every mistake that teaches something, all of it becomes part of your future advantage. Do not think of skill development as something reserved for experts. Growth belongs to anyone willing to stay curious. You do not need to master everything. You only need to become better than you were yesterday. Learn one new thing, practice one ability, improve one habit. Small improvements create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. There will always be people waiting for ideal conditions before they begin. Do not become one of them. Start with what interests you. Build consistency. Allow yourself to improve slowly. Progress compounds. At first, growth feels invisible. Then one day, people notice your confidence. Your results improve, your opportunities increase, and suddenly others think your success happened overnight. But they did not see the months or years spent becoming more capable. Never underestimate your ability to grow. Your future income is connected to your future value. Your future value is connected to your willingness to learn. And your willingness to learn can begin today. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is not in something you own, it is in the person you are becoming. Knowledge can inspire you. Ideas can excite you. Plans can make you feel productive. But none of them change your life until action enters the picture. Many people spend years preparing for a future they never begin. They collect advice. They watch videos. They create goals. They wait for confidence. They wait for certainty. And without realizing it, they become experts at planning, but beginners at doing. The truth is this: action is the bridge between possibility and reality. Without action, even the best ideas remain imagination. You do not become stronger by thinking about training. You do not become skilled by reading about practice. You do not build success by endlessly preparing. Progress begins when movement begins. One of the biggest myths people believe is that action comes after confidence. But confidence often appears after action. The first attempt feels uncomfortable. The first step feels uncertain. The first decision feels risky. That is normal. Growth rarely feels comfortable in the beginning. You gain clarity by moving, not by waiting. Think about how many opportunities disappear because people believe they need perfect conditions. But perfection is not the requirement. Starting is. Action teaches lessons that thinking never can. Action reveals strengths. Action exposes weaknesses. Action builds experience. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates belief. Small actions matter more than dramatic intentions. One conversation can create opportunity. 1 hour of focused work can create progress. One new habit can change direction. One decision can start a completely different future. Do not underestimate the power of small beginnings. People often imagine transformation as one giant breakthrough. But most real change happens quietly. One repeated action, one consistent effort, one ordinary day stacked on another. That is how momentum is built. And momentum changes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants to improve. You become someone who acts. There will never be a perfect moment. There will always be reasons to delay. There will always be uncertainty. But action creates information. Action creates growth. Action creates opportunities you cannot predict. You do not need all the answers before beginning. You only need enough courage for the next step. Trust yourself enough to move. Learn while doing. Adjust while moving. Improve while growing. Because success does not belong only to those who know more. It often belongs to those who begin sooner and continue longer. At the end of the day, ideas do not change lives. Decisions do. And decisions only become real when they turn into action. You now understand something that many people spend years searching for. Money is not only something to earn, it is something that responds. It responds to your mindset. It responds to your discipline. It responds to the value you create. It responds to your willingness to grow and take action. The moment you stop seeing money as something outside your control and start seeing it as a result of who you are becoming, everything begins to change. You no longer chase quick success. You build lasting success. You no longer wait for perfect conditions. You create movement with what you already have. You no longer measure your future by your current situation. You measure it by your capacity to learn, adapt, and continue. Remember the lessons. Value creates opportunity. Your thoughts shape direction. Discipline creates results. Abundance creates expansion. Skills increase income. Action turns possibility into reality. None of these ideas work overnight, but applied consistently, they can completely transform the way you live. Do not leave this message as inspiration only. Turn it into decisions. Choose one lesson, apply it today, then repeat tomorrow. Because the future you want is not built in one giant moment. It is built through the choices you make after this moment. Years from now, you may look back and realize that the day everything changed was not the day you earned more money, it was the day you started thinking differently. Your next chapter starts now. Go forward with purpose. Create value. Keep growing. Stay disciplined. Take action. And become the kind of person who never fears a lack of money again. Because you know how to create opportunities wherever you go.
What you have just heard is powerful. But a motivational speech becomes truly valuable only when its ideas are transformed into decisions, habits, and concrete actions. Inspiration can give you energy for a moment. A practical method can change the direction of your life. The central message of this speech is that money does not respond only to effort. It responds to value, discipline, skills, trust, adaptability, and action. However, we must also add an important clarification. Success does not depend exclusively on mindset. Economic conditions, education, health, social networks, family responsibilities, political stability, and access to resources can strongly influence a person's opportunities. We do not all begin from the same position. We do not all have the same support, the same education, or the same financial security. But even when we cannot control our starting point, we can improve the way we respond to it. We can develop our skills. We can improve our decisions. We can use our resources more intelligently. And we can gradually increase our ability to create opportunities. Here are 7 practical lessons that can help us apply the message of this speech. Lesson 1. Hard work is not enough. Your effort must create recognized value. Many people work extremely hard without making meaningful financial progress. This does not mean that they are lazy. It often means that their effort is poorly rewarded, difficult to see, or disconnected from a problem that people are willing to pay to solve. The first question should therefore not only be, how many hours am I working? The more important question is, what important problem can I solve, for whom, and with what measurable result? A mechanic does not only sell 1 hour of labor. The mechanic restores a machine, prevents production losses, and protects the client from a more expensive breakdown. A consultant does not only sell a presentation or a report. The consultant may reduce costs, improve productivity, shorten delivery times, or reduce risk. A teacher does not only transmit information. A teacher helps another person acquire knowledge, confidence, and capabilities. Your work becomes more valuable when you understand the result behind the activity. Here is a practical exercise. Write down 3 problems that your current experience allows you to solve. Then identify the people, companies, or organizations that regularly face these problems. Finally, describe your value in one clear sentence. For example, I help small businesses reduce operational waste by improving their processes. Or, I help young professionals communicate their ideas more clearly and confidently. Value becomes economically powerful when it is useful, understandable, visible, and credible. Working hard is honorable. But if you want to progress, your effort must be connected to a result that someone recognizes and values. Lesson 2. Your mindset is a filter, not a magical force. The speech tells us that our thoughts shape our results. This is true, but not because the universe automatically gives us everything we imagine. Our thoughts influence what we notice, the questions we ask, the risks we accept, and the decisions we make. A person who believes that failure is inevitable may avoid opportunities that could help them grow. They may interpret one rejection as permanent proof that they are not capable. They may reduce their effort before they have seriously tested their potential. Another person may experience the same rejection and treat it as information. They may ask, "What can I improve? What did I misunderstand? What skill do I still need?" This is not about pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about refusing to transform a temporary difficulty into a permanent identity. Instead of saying, "Nothing works for me," ask, "What have I not learned yet?" Instead of saying, "There are no opportunities," ask, "Which opportunities am I not yet prepared to recognize or use?" Instead of saying, "I cannot do this," say, "I do not know how to do this yet." That single word, "yet," changes the meaning of the situation. It reminds you that your current ability is not necessarily your final ability. For the next 30 days, observe the thoughts that repeatedly push you toward fear, hesitation, or surrender. Write them down. Then transform each negative statement into a practical question. You may not control every situation, but you can regain control of your next response. Lesson 3. Discipline must be organized, not left to willpower. Motivation is unstable. Some days, you feel energetic, confident, and determined. On other days, you feel tired, distracted, uncertain, or discouraged. If your progress depends entirely on your emotions, your results will rise and fall with your mood. Discipline is what allows you to continue when motivation disappears. But discipline should not mean fighting against yourself every morning. Real discipline means building a system that makes the right action easier to repeat. Choose a specific time for your most important activity. Prepare your tools in advance. Remove unnecessary distractions. Turn off notifications. Place your telephone in another room. Decide what you will do before the moment arrives. You can also create a minimum standard. For example, 20 minutes of focused work, 5 pages of reading, 1 professional contact, 1 sales proposal, 1 completed exercise. These actions may appear small, but small actions become powerful when they are repeated. Apply another important rule. Never miss twice. Missing one day does not destroy your progress, but allowing one interruption to become a new pattern can. Discipline does not mean perfection. Discipline means returning. At the end of every week, review 3 things. What did you plan? What did you complete? And what prevented you from doing the rest? This turns discipline into a process of improvement instead of punishment. Lesson 4. Abundance thinking means using your resources, not ignoring reality. Scarcity thinking says that there is never enough. It says that someone else has already taken every opportunity. It says that your current limitation will define your entire future. Abundance thinking does not mean believing that resources are unlimited. It means believing that improvement, learning, collaboration, and creation are still possible. Start by identifying the resources you already possess. Your time is a resource. Your knowledge is a resource. Your experience is a resource. Your relationships are resources. Your language skills are resources. Your ability to learn is a resource. Your reputation, creativity, discipline, and willingness to help others are also resources. Many people wait for more while ignoring what they already have. Make a simple resource inventory. How many hours can you realistically invest every week? Which skills do you already possess? Who could advise you? Which tools do you already own? What knowledge or experience are you underestimating? Then design one low-risk experiment. Test a service with 3 potential clients. Create a basic prototype. Publish an analysis. Offer a small improvement in your workplace. Take a targeted course. Speak with someone already working in the field you want to enter. The objective is not to take irresponsible risks. The objective is to stop allowing fear to make every decision. Do not only ask, "What could I lose if I act?" Also ask, "What will I continue losing if I never act?" Lesson 5. Your skills are a form of wealth that can travel with you. A job can disappear. A company can close. A market can change. A technology can become outdated. But the ability to learn, adapt, communicate, solve problems, and create value can be used repeatedly in different environments. This is why your skills may be more important than your current salary. However, collecting certificates without applying what you learn is not enough. A skill becomes truly valuable when it solves a real problem and when you can prove that you possess it. Build a combination of complementary skills. For example, combine technical knowledge with communication. Combine leadership with financial understanding. Combine creativity with project management. Combine digital skills with knowledge of a specific industry. A person who has technical expertise but cannot explain its value may remain invisible. A person who communicates confidently but cannot produce results will eventually lose credibility. The strongest position comes from combining knowledge, execution, and communication. Choose one priority skill for the next 90 days. Then choose a project that forces you to use that skill. Do not study only in theory. Create something. Build a prototype. Write a report. Produce a case study. Improve a process. Complete a measurable project. Create evidence of your ability. Do not only tell people what you know. Show them what your knowledge allows you to produce. Lesson 6. Action does not follow confidence. Action creates confidence. Many people wait until they feel completely ready. They want certainty before taking the first step. But clarity rarely appears before action. Clarity is usually created through experience. An idea that has never been tested remains an assumption. Action produces information. It reveals what works. It exposes weaknesses. It identifies missing skills. It creates feedback. It teaches lessons that thinking alone cannot provide. Use a simple 24-hour rule. When you identify an important idea, take one visible action within the next 24 hours. Send the message. Write the first page. Contact the potential client. Create the first version. Register for the course. Schedule the meeting. Publish the first piece of content. Then use a simple cycle. Act. Observe. Learn. Adjust. Act again. You do not need to guarantee the final result before beginning. You only need to learn enough from each step to improve the next one. Courage does not mean having no fear. Courage means moving with a reasonable level of uncertainty. You do not need to see the entire road. You need enough courage for the next step. Lesson 7. The real goal is to become someone who can recreate success. The speech speaks extensively about money, but its deepest lesson is about identity. There is an important difference between temporarily achieving a result and becoming capable of producing that result repeatedly. A person may earn money once through luck, timing, or a temporary opportunity. But sustainable success requires systems, habits, skills, relationships, and judgment. A person who can recreate success continues learning. They protect their reputation. They maintain valuable relationships. They save and invest part of what they earn. They study their mistakes. They adapt to changing conditions. And they keep the promises they make to themselves. Do not define your goal only by saying, "I want to earn more money." Define the person you must become. For example, I am becoming a person who creates useful value every week. I am becoming a person who continues learning. I am becoming a person who acts even when the situation feels uncomfortable. I am becoming a person who keeps commitments. Then create weekly evidence of that identity. One skill practiced. One professional contact made. One useful result created. One difficult task completed. One promise respected. One unnecessary expense avoided. One improvement introduced. Large transformations are rarely created by one dramatic decision. They are created when ordinary decisions remain consistent for a long period. Let us conclude with one essential truth. Money is not a moral reward. The hardest working people are not always the best paid. The most deserving people do not always receive the greatest opportunities. But every person can work to increase their ability to create, communicate, deliver, and protect useful value. Do not attempt to apply all 7 lessons at the same time. Choose the lesson that addresses your greatest current obstacle. If you lack direction, identify the problem you want to solve. If you lack valuable skills, begin a focused learning project. If you lack consistency, create a small daily routine. If you lack confidence, take one concrete action within the next 24 hours. Inspiration creates emotion. Method creates transformation. Your life will not change only because you enjoyed this speech. It will begin to change when you transform one idea from this video into one action today, and then repeat that action tomorrow. Write in the comments which lesson you have decided to apply. Not the lesson you like the most. The lesson you are actually going to turn into action.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Some people dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.